Hi, everybody. My name is Stephcynie. You heard her right. You can see the spelling there. It's a CY in there. And it's a combination of my parents' names, Stephen and Cynthia. They were kind of arguing about what to name me, and they both wanted their names a part of my name. So they put their names together, and they put an IE at the end. So it's Stephen, the first half, and then Cynthia, CYN, and then IE is for example, because I'm an example of them. So they got really creative. I'm a singer, songwriter, and performer. I'm based in Nashville, and I've been singing and performing since I was 9. I actually do music professionally. So when people ask me what I do for a living, I do tell them that I sing and write music. That's how I pay all my bills, which has been really cool. I've been doing that for the past 6.5 years consistently. I tour as a background vocalist with different artists around the world. So the only continent I haven't been on is Antarctica. And then there's a few countries that I haven't been to that I really want to go to. So hopefully we get COVID under control so I can get out there. I've released 3 projects that you can find on Spotify, Apple Music, and all those places. I haven't really released any music this year just because of all that's been going on, but I am planning on releasing some music towards the end of the year, just because I've had so much time. One of the things that I've picked up during these times is mixing, learning how to mix my own music. And if you don't know what mixing is, I can give you a quick little synopsis. So ultimately, artists record their music into microphones like the one behind me. Most of the time it's in a studio or something like that, but a lot of us are doing it from home these days. And once that you've gotten all of your sounds and everything recorded, you typically have someone go in that has a specialized ear for making sure everything sounds balanced and clear and really presentable. So a lot of times what you end up hearing on radio or on records are not the original sound that went into the recording. They're manipulated sounds. They brighten the sounds. They might have done a little bit of auto-tune because nobody sings perfectly on pitch. There are very, very few people who have perfect pitch in the world, but it's not a common thing. And we don't typically hear people when they speak or sing. Once it translates into our brain, it's actually not perfect. But for how music is today, people have gotten so used to perfection that now it becomes a thing where they just tune everything. And you can kind of tell the difference between like recordings that are new from like the 2000s forward, and then go back to like the 80s, even the 90s and 70s. And you'll notice that in those recordings, you can hear some of the imperfections. Sometimes there might be a mistake in the instrumentation, or the singer isn't exactly on pitch, but it doesn't bother you because the music is so amazing. But we've kind of trained our ears and trained our young people to expect perfection. So now when you hear those kind of things, you're like, oh, it's not a good recording. So that's kind of in a nutshell. I'm trying to I don't have so much time. I could talk about this forever. So what I want to do is I want to share a little bit about my work process with recording from home and writing and recording. So I'm going to show you a session that I'm working on. This is a program called Logic, which is a common program that a lot of artists use to record. And I'm working on a song up here. You can see it's called In Game. And these are all my vocals. This one's muted. Oh, that's muted on purpose. Okay. These are all my vocals. Down here is an MP3 of the track. So I actually have the entire track with all the instrumentation as well, but I didn't want to put that in here because that would make these tracks be in the 50s or 60s, and I just didn't want to overwhelm anybody with that. So this is just a vocal session. Up here, what you have is my lead vocal, which is going to be the verses and stuff. What I've done, you can see it's kind of chopped up. The way that I record, I'll do this. I do 7 to 10 different takes because I'm a perfectionist. And then I go through each take and pick out what I feel is the best. This is not what everybody does. When I've gone into studios where I have mix engineers recording me, sometimes they just have me sing 1 or 2 times, and then they get it, but I'm just like always in my head and I'm like, it has to be perfect. So this is what I do. So I've done that and I've picked out my favorite sections from what I've recorded. As you can see, there's different numbers. So I did 10 takes, but I only liked 4 of them. So that's why you only see 4. And then I picked from that 4. So then that gives you my lead audio, which is the whole thing. Then underneath, I'm gonna have my choruses and my harmony. So that's why you're seeing like high octaves. BGV stands for background vocals. And then these are all my harmonies here. And I like to do what they call stacks on harmonies, which is basically just doubling or tripling yourself to get a fuller sound. So these 3 BGVs, no, let's not do that. These 3 highs right here are all the same. I sang them the same, but they're not the same audio, if that makes sense. So I sang it into the microphone 3 different times, but I sang the exact same thing to give you kind of a fuller sound. So I'll let you kind of hear what that sounds like. So that's kind of what you're hearing there. And so if you want to hear it in context. Wanna play, this one for keeps or just a throwaway. I just wanna know what is your final play. Your name. You say your plan. So that's kind of a quick how that goes. I'm not gonna play the whole song because I only have 2 more minutes, but I also wanted to show you how I write. So I use OneNote, and so I have a special notebook for songwriting. What you see over here are, I do solo writes, which is what's highlighted, but I also write with people. So these are all of the people that I've written with, and I have songs with all of them. These are, and this is all just from 2020. And so these are my songs I've written this year. And what you guys are listening to is In Game. Joshua Blaylock is the person who helped me with the music side. So he didn't do anything as far as lyrics or melody, but he did assist me with actually creating the track. So I always give people writing credit if they do that. And so, yeah, this is just how I write. You can see this particular song is, I wrote when I met my boyfriend. I was trying to figure out what he was trying to do. Like, was he just trying to hang out, or did he want to become something more? And it turned out he wanted to become something more. So we've been together for a year, almost a year and a half, which has been really cool. So that's where that came from. I'll let you hear the verse, just part of it. I drink your love like it's water. You fell hard, I fell harder, never want to come down. So believe that was just one take, because I like that whole take. But when you look at this area here, you'll see that I did some, I picked from some things. So right here. No obsession. Don't mean much, you're my new obsession. I just have one question. But you can see, you can't really tell that I did any of that. So that's really, 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 really cool. It's a time for questions. So here we go. If you have any questions, let me know and I will be happy to answer them for you.
This is Chris from North Pacific. I have a question. Musicians or how they create music is always mysterious for me. So a lot of performer artists, especially musicians, they're trying to find a way to share their music. Musician, performer artists, they collaborate through Zoom or other platforms. In terms of quality, and our recordings ask for perfection, I found the conflict or contradictory here. So how do you look at that?
It's definitely a learning curve during these times. I think what is going to end up happening is we're going to revert back to how music used to be back in the old days, I should say, where it wasn't perfect, because it's not going to be possible for all of the music that comes out, especially during quote COVID, to have that perfection on it, because so many people are now having to record from home and they can't go into a professional studio, and they're just learning how to do it themselves. And if we wait until it's perfect, then there won't be any music to listen to, because all of the artists will just wait, you know what I mean? And so we're not going to make it through these times if artists aren't creating and releasing music. So I think that as we do more collaborations through Zoom and we do more recording from home, you're going to find that the recordings aren't going to be as perfect. The music might still be amazing, but you're not going to have the vocals that are just like completely in tune, which is unnatural anyway. You're going to hear those dips and you're going to hear the human part of the songs. I think you're going to start seeing more of that.
Amazing. I'm originally from Spain, but I live in New York City, and I was fascinated to see how you create music. I have no idea how to create music, so that was great. I'm definitely going to check out your music because the little that you show, it was very interesting. I was very fascinated by your name story, and I was just wondering if your parents, who are definitely very creative, they're also musicians.
So my parents are not musicians, actually. They're just entrepreneurs, so they have their own companies, but they've always been very encouraging of me. They've never deterred me from pursuing music, and I believe wholeheartedly that the reason I've been able to make a living off of music is because my parents' support, because it's not an easy career path, and a lot of people don't accept it as a career path. Like, a lot of people still ask me what my other job is, and I have to be like, I don't have another job. So yeah.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.